Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of One Piece Chapter 982, where I'll be discussing this chapter based on my own subjective interpretation. I hope you'll enjoy hearing me discuss my thoughts on this week's chapter, and will like and comment with your own thoughts as well. Without further ado, let's get started. The chapter opens up with the ongoing cover story of Gang Beige's Oh My Family, where we see Goatee carrying Lola and Chiffon carrying Beige and Pez, with all of them running away from the Marines. I really do like the comedic value that comes from this page, but I also have to admit, while some of the cover pages have been really good in this ongoing story, I feel like this particular one has started to overstay its welcome for me. I shouldn't complain too much, as I feel the cover stories are one of my favorite ways Oda tells us stories on what other characters are up to. I just can't help wishing this one would come to a conclusion, and maybe we can spend some time observing what other characters are up to. When the chapter opens up, we see Kaido partying with his crew and Orochi. The headliner, Black Marina, gave up on searching for Kaido-san to attend the celebration. One thing that I've always found interesting about Kaido is in regards to his apparent mental health. In this chapter, he seems to be in high spirits and enjoying company, while also boosting his own ego. But we've also seen him be wrathful and quick to anger. We know his already unpredictable moods are made worse when he's drunk, and he's rarely ever sober, combined with the fact that he attempted to kill himself all the way back when we were introduced to him. What I'm hoping for is a backstory that provides an understanding for why Kaido is the way he is. I don't need a backstory to be told immediately, but I am rather excited for it hopefully at some point in this arc. By comparison, I really enjoyed Big Mom's backstory back in Whole Cake, which not only helped explain why she is the way she is, but somehow made her even more terrifying than she already was. I am enjoying the suspense that is built up by the many questions I have about Kaido. I'm curious if we'll be seeing his backstory unveiled around the same time we start to know more about his son Yamato, who currently is a mystery as well. Speaking of characters that have built up a lot of suspense, Kanjuro appears before Kaido and Orochi in this chapter, carrying with him Momonosuke to be delivered to them. Out of the 9 red scabbards, Kanjuro was my favorite despite being a traitor, and him being a traitor only has me more curious to know more about him. I'm still getting used to how he acts as a villain, since I'm used to him being a bit more goofy and incompetent, and I just want to know if anything during his act was true and reflected who he truly is as a person. For me personally, I hope it is, and I hope he has some sort of story or reason that explains more about him. Kanjuro ends up delivering the news to Orochi that the Red Scabbards operation was not successfully stopped and that they were still on their way to Onigashima. A lot of the characters present disregard the gravity of the situation and continue to celebrate despite the issue, and it's really funny watching how distraught and nervous Orochi is. Upon coming to the realization of the situation he is in, Orochi snags Momonosuke, who is currently resting in Black Maria's lap, who, on a side note, I am surprised by how nice she seems to be so far. Maybe it's just because of Kaido and Orochi along with a few other villains this arc, but I was expecting the majority of characters affiliated with them to be ruthless and cruel, especially to Momonosuke. I guess I sometimes forget how diverse and complex the characters Oda generates truly are. Anyway, back to Orochi. Upon remembering that Momonosuke is the enemy leader, he decides to arrange a crucifixion stand for Momonosuke so that he can be rid of the Kozuki clan once and for all. We cut to a scene of Nekomamushi getting in touch with the other scabbards and getting chastised for arriving last minute, but he brushes it off and says he's just in time for the action. Following this, we see Nekomamushi talking to Marco. He points out the coincidence of them showing up at the same time. Nekomamushi tosses out the note Marco gave him saying that he will be late, which, considering he's with Nekomamushi right now, he might still end up being late because they haven't joined up with the others yet. Anything can happen to prevent them from joining up with the main forces, and seeing how it's common in One Piece for factions to remain mostly separate during the climactic parts of an arc, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how this plays out. A brief note before I forget. I was surprised not to see Izo in this chapter. I was really hoping to see more of Izo after seeing him briefly last chapter. It was a bit of a letdown not to see even a small scene with him present. But I'm still excited to hopefully see him in the near future. I just wanted to voice my anticipation. Now for our next thing to examine, let's talk about Denjiro. He deals with one of the members of the Topiropo in a way that manages to be both comical but also serious, as we get a nice panel of the Kozuki clan symbol on his back, as he questions Sasaki about what he knows about Wano's history. Immediately after this, we cut to Big Mom, and I really love this scene. Big Mom is aggressively fighting the Barakkyo tank while demanding the Straw Hats to hand over Luffy. We also see Prometheus seek out and confront Nami, who still has Zeus with her. I'm really hoping Nami manages to come out of this arc with Zeus in Klima tact. But jokes aside, I really do enjoy the thoughts of her having Zeus as a form power-up, especially knowing that she effectively stole it from an emperor. I really want some of the Straw Hats who haven't had a good fight in the New World to finally manage to get one, and Nami is one of the characters for me personally I would like to see that most. I think having access to Zeus in conjunction with a Akima attack would allow her to fight stronger foes in a way that is believable for the audience, and for me would be much anticipated. Our conclusion of this chapter comes in the form of Ulti attempting to hitch a ride on page 1 before knocking him over and appearing before Luffy, and them asking each other, "Who the hell are you?" I really like Ulti's design and personality so far, and love the cliffhanger of her and Luffy staring each other down, and can't wait to see where this leads to next chapter. And that concludes this week's chapter. I actually enjoy this week's chapter more after rereading it once, because I sometimes read the chapters in a rush because of how excited I am to read them when they release. There's a lot of information presented in this chapter that looks like it's going to build toward a lot of interesting and climactic events, and hopefully some big reveals soon. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with anyone you know who also enjoys One Piece. I hope to see everyone next video. Peace out.